What is going on, everyone? We are back for Hit the Books, Season 4, Episode 24. We are officially done with our NFL season. On to the NBA, NHL, college basketball. March Madness is right around the corner with Selection Sunday, just under a few weeks away as we move it towards the end of March or February with the conference championship tournaments and all that. Just me and Ace this week. We're going to dissect this Super Bowl, what you saw on Sunday. But I'll hand things off over to Ace. How we doing this week? How do we feel about that Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, the Super Bowl wasn't as highly competitive as we expected. Kind of a blowout there. We got a lot to dive into and dissect that one. Hit a couple of bets, though. I think I went 500 on the card, so no unit movement. But yeah, it was a pretty crazy, eye-opening one. Hopefully cemented the Brady GOAT legacy debate. We'll get to that as well. Hockey's in a little bit of a pause, but we had the Four Nations face-off, the inaugural one, so I'm excited to see that, how that plays out. Sad for the Czech Republic that they're not in. My boy Pasta doesn't get to compete. And the NBA is in full swing right now. I'm diving in completely. Got some props on the card for once tonight. Never really had those, but not much else going on. You guys have been cooking in the NCAA world as well. So I've been telling you boys there. But some offseason news as well in some other leagues. So ready to get going here and talk another week of sports.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll get right into that Super Bowl and what we saw, like I said, on Sunday. Super Bowl 59, the Eagles are your champions after they defeated Kansas City 40-22 in New Orleans. Eagles take home their second Super Bowl victory in franchise history. What would you say your biggest takeaways from the game? Obviously, a lot of people saying, Mahomes is human. Like you said, the Brady, Mahomes GOAT talk, that obviously would have been a whole different conversation. Had the Chiefs won this game, complete the three-peat, they don't get it done. It's still never been done in the NFL. And I don't know, watching that game, the way it went, 34-0, I don't think you had a single person in the world said the Chiefs wouldn't have a single point through almost three quarters. I don't even know when they got their first points. I know Devontae
Garbage
Smith
time.
scored with, 2 minutes left in the third quarter on that deep
The
ball.
dagger.
So, it was absolutely over before that. Like, the Chiefs had
Mm.
no life. I was watching some of the clips from Travis's podcast today, him kind of saying, he feels bad he wasn't a good leader. He felt like he couldn't be there in the big moments for his team. Kind of given the setup that I'm starting to feel more confident that he is going to retire. I don't want to say that, but I'd like to see him play and run another year back with Mahomes. But what would you think about that game? Chiefs, dethroned for the first time in 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, though, I threw late on the coin flip. Threw on tails there, ended up hitting. Tails never fails. Shout
We
out
all
Abib
did it our
Patel.
Super Bowl party too.
Yeah, right. But here's the one thing, right? When it won tails for the Chiefs, I was like, oh no. I remember on the podcast last week, we were discussing whoever wins the coin toss usually doesn't win the game. There's like a really good trend that was
Last
riding
one
with
was
it.
the Russell Wilson Seahawks.
That's almost a decade ago now. So
Yeah.
I mean, right when that happened, I looked at my boys like, this isn't good for the Chiefs. Now that they won the toss. Everybody's like, what do you mean? I'm like, oh, we dove into this on the podcast, and statistically, it's just
You
not a good
don't want to
look.
win the coin
No,
toss.
no, not at all. And it was all Eagles all day long. My biggest shout out is going to be to Howie Roseman, though. I mean, we talked about a lot of things. This cements Jalen Hurts as a top end quarterback, puts him up there in the upper echelon with Stafford, Mahomes, his only guys with Super Bowls, Rodgers too in the league right now, and your boy Russ. But yeah, I mean, it was Eagles all day long. The defense was far.
I feel like there's someone we're forgetting.
What with Super Bowls right now?
Who'd you say?
Stafford,
Mahomes,
Rodgers,
Stafford, Ross,
Mahomes.
Hurts.
Yeah, and who else?
Who would have
Wilson?
been? Yeah, I guess maybe that's
Brady.
it.
Yeah, Brady. Burrow's been there, I guess. Maybe there's someone else we're
Yeah,
thinking of.
no,
A
I'm
lot of
thinking the
backup
rings.
QBs.
Yeah,
Kenny
you're
Pickett,
right. There's like 5 guys in the league, 5 quarterbacks in the league that have won.
starting QBs. Yeah, I mean, Kenny Pickett's Super Bowl champion, Jacoby Brissett as well. We could talk about those guys too. But no, it was all Eagles all day long. And the biggest thing to me was the way that Patrick Mahomes came out. I know he was under duress all day long, but how do you not expect that coming with that defensive front and the way they were playing all season long? He was missing open throws. He was not locked in. He didn't really look like he was ready to get going. And the biggest surprise to me was the fact that the Chiefs didn't run right at that strong defense. They didn't establish the power run with Pacheco or Kareem Hunt. You saw in the second half they came out trying to run with Pacheco and get it going, but it was too late by then. The way they won these Super Bowls before, their playoff dominance in the last 2 to 3 years, was all led by that run game, low-scoring games, keeping ball possession, playing smart football. With a strong pass rush, that's how you dial down the pressure, and they didn't do it. And I'm surprised by Andy Reid. I think we can put to bed 3 GOAT conversations after this one. Andy Reid is not better than Bill Belichick. He didn't make any adjustments at halftime there. That's what was
We
crazy
look
to
like
me.
the same team in the second half.
which is crazy. Look at what Brady did when they were down 28-3. They were down 27-0. I looked at my boys and said, "Hey, I mean, I know they're in a terrible spot, but if this was Tom Brady, we wouldn't even be that nervous. We'd be like, all right, he's at least going to get us back in the mix." Mahomes didn't at all, and the whole team didn't. They
At
didn't
least
adjust
you get a
anything.
27, like 14 or 27,
Yeah,
13,
like
get some life.
the 2-for-1, something at the end of the half to get some life. The fact that they got shut out, you could tell that the lights were off for that whole team. The Travis Kelsey to Rob Gronkowski debate, I think this whole season kind of put that to rest because Gronk was still productive at the end of his career. And the fact that he's a blocking tight end is a whole different story. But I mean, I think those three conversations go to bed. But shout out to the Eagles here. Shout out to Howie Roseman. That roster he put together, we kept saying it all week. The team of destiny, the three-peat goats, three really good. What the Chiefs has done, you can't take the credit away. A lot of people calling them frauds. I mean, they just didn't show up for one game. When you're going to three straight Super Bowls, you're bound to lose one of them too.
Yeah, you're not a fraud.
You got to prop the Eagles here. We said it all last week, off the last few weeks. That's an all-star lineup, the best lineup on paper in the league. Look at the skill positions. AJ Brown, wide receiver one. You went and brought him in. Saquon Barkley, best running back in the league. Him and Derrick Henry. You have Jalen Hurts, who you drafted highly, highly respected quarterback. You have Devontae Smith as your wide receiver too, who just gets it done at every level of football from his youth days through now. They had Jahan Dotson, who had a big game. He almost scored the first touchdown after he got called back, but he was a top pick too. You brought him in for nothing. Dallas Goedert, very strong tight end. The way they rebuilt that team from the last Super Bowl appearance too, I think they only returned 4 guys from that last Super Bowl appearance. And the fact that they're an even better team, you lost Jason Kelsey, and your O-line is still very strong. Jurgens, Mekhi Becton they brought in. I mean, what a great piece to add. That defense, the exciting White Cooper to Gene with the pick six, that was awesome to see. Giving a lot of white kids out there hope that they can go play quarterback in the NFL one day. Jalen Carter with the pass rush was looking great. Quinyon Mitchell, Reed Blankenship, what a year from Zach Bond really stepping up too. Throughout the lineup, it was just awesome. And people talk about Kelsey. Another reason that Gronk is better than Kelsey all time, he wasn't able to get anything going. The only times we saw him pop up throughout the year, I said this to you during the game when we were texting about it, is he needs time in the pocket to make stuff happen out of normal routes. He's not winning on normal routes anymore at his age. He's not mobile enough, not big enough, not strong enough. Him and Mahomes have that connection. But if there's no time to extend the play, 87's non-existent. The only guy that looked like he was ready to go out there was Xavier Worthy. We saw D-Hop with a big drop. Juju got involved early, but what they were really missing was Rashee Rice, I think. That's going to be a big lift for them next year. Chris Jones getting hurt partway through the game, too. I think on that tush push early on, you saw him with the neck issues there. But the Eagles, shout out to the game plan. Shout out to Sirianni. Ever since he shaved that head, I think they lost one game all year long. They were dialed in. They were on a mission.
Finished the season 18-1.
Yeah, they were on a mission. How do you not with that roster? You and I were having this debate. You're like, you got to give credit where credit's due, which you do. But with that roster, how do you not win a championship?
I was just going to say, listen, to your point of Howie Roseman building this team. This is their first 2 picks the last 5 years, going like most recent years and back. So last year, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. The year before, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith.
Pass rush.
All 4 of those guys are starters on defense.
And that's why they had no time to throw the ball or get separation. Those 4 guys. Keep going.
2022, Jordan Davis and Cam Jurgens, your first 2 picks. And third round that year, you got Nakobe Dean, who didn't even play in the Super Bowl and is like the heart and soul of that defense. Year before, Devontae Smith, Landon Dickerson.
Oh, my God. I mean, they're owning the trenches. And then you had Devontae Smith. The fact during this time, they brought in A.J. Brown with Devontae Smith.
Yeah, and the year before Devontae Smith and Landon Dickerson, it was when they took Jalen Reagor when they could have picked Justin Jefferson and Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, that's nuts. I mean, what a draft they put together. The free agents.
Can you imagine if they would have got Justin Jefferson with that pick instead of Jalen Reagor?
You needed A.J. Brown. You would have saved more assets to spend more money somewhere else. But it all worked out in the end. And the thing is, they looked great. Everybody was firing all cylinders. They couldn't cover A.J. Brown. We saw that with the separation he was creating. They couldn't. They contained Saquon Barkley pretty well. That was their game plan, was to shut him down. But Jalen Hurts, we said he has to prove that he can beat this team, and he did with his feet. I think his rushing prop, he crushed it, went for 70 yards. He was throwing all over him with dots left and right early on, late in the game, throwing the dagger. Devontae Smith, what a play call too. Vic Fangio brought him in after a tough season last year. They fired their DC. In your first year as a DC with all that young talent, think about the contracts those guys are on too. I mean, paying that defense nothing, and they're just balling out. They were locked in all day long. Pass rush, getting all over Mahomes. Secondary, clamping all the receivers, the washed up veterans in Hollywood, Juju and D-Hop. Travis Kelsey, Noah Gray, nowhere to be found. Um, Stifling the run game to not really let it get going. They didn't even let Mahomes get outside the pocket and run himself. When he was getting outside, he was running for his life, it seemed. A lot of penalties going the Eagles' way too. That's because the Chiefs were not ready for this. People like to talk about, oh, the Chiefs get all these calls, or this game, the Chiefs backers are saying the Eagles got all these calls. But the people who get the calls are the ones who are more prepared and playing better football. The Chiefs are playing from behind, running for their life the whole time. The fact that they trademarked the three-peat before it even happened, it looked like they were ready to go. And this Eagles team was playing such hot football. That's what matters in these playoffs of any sports, is how hot you're playing. But what a performance, though. I
And
mean,
the crazy thing is, if you would have said to Eagles fans before this game, Saquon's going to have 25 carries for 57 yards and not see the end zone,
you're
I
right.
don't think a single Eagles fan would be like, "Oh yeah, we're going to win this game."
But what we talked about, Huff, last time they met in the Super Bowl, who was running all over them? Once again, Jalen Hurts. I mean, he combined for what? Total 4 touchdowns himself?
What do you have rushing? Let me see. One rushing, two passing.
Oh, three total, three total. All right. But still, I mean, he could have had more if they kept pouring it on as
He threw the interception in the first quarter or second quarter, whenever that was.
yeah,
Then the Cooper
unnecessary.
DeJean pick six happened, and everyone even forgot Jalen Hurts threw an interception.
Literally, it was an unnecessary pick at the time. The Chiefs defense actually kept them in it early. It was the Mahomes turnovers that were crushing them. The 3 and outs every drive, then turnover after
Which is
turnover.
crazy.
There was
That's
a
what we're talking about, killed them in a Super Bowl.
right? The attrition setting, because the defense actually stepped up. When you're getting beat and giving up that many points, like, wow, the defense must have sucked. They actually played pretty well. They were just always on the field and in tough field position. Jake Elliott, shout out to him too. We kind of shit on him throughout the year, and he stepped up in a big way. I think he converted 3 or 4 field goals, a lot of them from deep too, and they were money every time. So everybody was fired up and playing great football there.
He's a
And
two-time champ now. They said there was only 4
four,
guys left
yeah.
from that roster from 2018.
Which is crazy, the way that they rebuilt so quickly. They only missed the playoffs, I believe, 1 time,
Yeah,
and, they got to the Super Bowl and lost, and now they did it again. Jalen Hurts, the way he carries himself and the way that he does everything, I still think personally, skill-wise, he's about around 7th best quarterback in the
I'd
NFL.
say that's right, yeah.
Yeah, around Justin Herbert, maybe you put him ahead of him now that he has the Super Bowl. I still think it's Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Lamar, maybe even Jaden Daniels, but then you have Jalen Hurts right there on their coattails.
Yeah.
So it's just a great performance by the Philadelphia Eagles. Philly, you deserve this. The fans were going nuts. They're going to go nuts again on Friday. They already canceled school for the public schools in Philadelphia, so that place is going to be going crazy. And what about the way they're handling themselves after the Super Bowl? Talking about bringing in more people, running it back, getting a dynasty going, and they have money and picks to play with too, because, like we said, that defense is on such light contracts.
Yeah. They said, I saw something on Twitter. It was like, what I love about Philadelphia is you can't tell if they just won a championship or lost a championship because the city's just fucking torn to shreds anyway.
Yeah, and people to grease the poles because they're going to be climbing up them. It looked nuts out there. One thing I got to give a shout out to though for the Chiefs is Xavier Worthy. I mean, that guy's a stud. What about that second half of the season he put together? He looked like the only guy on the Chiefs offense that was ready to play football. Whenever he got his looks, he ended up with 2 touchdowns on the day, over 100 yards. The only guy that gave them any life and respectability with the scoreboard, and saved Patrick Mahomes from the worst statistical day in the Super Bowl of any quarterback, because through 3 quarters, it was abysmal. I think he had 50 yards passing and a pick and a fumble. But the fact that he was able to pad stat with those garbage times, that was some glamorous stat padding there. But the fact that he's now 0-2 with Tom Brady in the building. Did you see Nick Foles with his tweet as well? Tom
Yeah.
Brady, the lucky charm for the Eagles.
Yeah.
Uh, but he's got to be Brady. Everybody's saying got to be laughing seeing that. I mean, obviously we know he cheers for Mahomes. He respects greatness as well, and he likes to see guys do well. But he probably was like, if it was me out there, I'd
Not
get us.
bad. Yeah, it's not bad to see him slip one up. Look at the picture I just sent you. That was Beal after they won the Super Bowl.
Let's say.
He's standing on top of
Oh
the box.
yeah,
So
that's literally Philadelphia for you. The whole city knew. Go hide if you're not an Eagles fan, but if you're rocking the green, get out there in the city and just cause complete and total mayhem.
first thing I said when he sent me that picture is look back at the picture, pull it back up. There's a guy next to him wearing a number 2 Jalen Hurts jersey. I said, where the hell did that guy get that jersey at? And he goes, I didn't even notice that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, he found that one. Someone risky was selling that on the streets outside the stadium before the game. $10, 10% off. But yeah, let's talk about this a little bit more. This Eagles game. Usually Steve Spagnuolo, I sing his praise all the time. You're always like, oh, you back Mahomes, you're a big Mahomes guy. But honestly, I believe in that coaching staff more than anybody. The defensive scheme. I know their scheme was to shut down Barkley, which he did, Like I said, the defense played well. They were just in tough spots because of the field position they were left with. But Jalen Hurts did whatever he wanted. They couldn't contain him in the run game. His passing game was nuts. He was finding the mismatches too, which was crazy. He kept going to Dotson early and often. I think he only had like one or two catches in the whole postseason, and he had some big ones in this game. AJ Brown, like I
His
said,
first touchdown against, the Packers, and then that catch in the Super Bowl.
yeah, that's crazy. I think he ended up with 2 or 3 as well. I think his receiving prop was less than 10 yards too,
It
so
was
that
3
cash.
and a half, I heard.
Yeah, that's crazy, and it makes sense. You attack their weaknesses on offense. If they're gonna shut down Barkley, load up the box, they're gonna leave guys like Brown one-on-one who exposes matchup, and then Devontae Smith one-on-one who's getting open too. But the guy who's covering Jahan Dotson, who was a top pick not a few just a few years ago, tough matchup there because usually you don't see someone that skilled. Dallas Goedert looked good as well. The Kenneth Gainwell prop that a lot of people on our live stream are calling out looked ugly early on. He ran a couple negative runs, but the nice game script of getting the backups in there got him over his yardage prop. Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco, though, non-existent. That defense for the Eagles was lights out. I mean, they shut down everything that the Chiefs threw at them, unless it was a Xavier Worthy, not Hollywood Brown, excuse me. Xavier Worthy late game. He's just dynamite, on the field. Like I said, Chiefs will be happy to get Rashee Rice back from injury. The O line got completely blown up. Joe Tooney had his 5 Super Bowl rings, did not get another there. He was just
Yeah.
getting blown up by Jalen Carter all day
Their
long.
offensive line looked terrible.
Terrible. And people are gonna give credit to the Eagles defense, say Mahomes was under pressure all game. I've seen other quarterbacks, GOAT quarterbacks, Manning, Brady,
Even
Stafford.
Burrow that year, he went to the
Yeah,
Super Bowl. He had a
like they
terrible off.
maintained pressure, but they came up with a better game plan to get it going. I think the running back room is a problem. Kelsey hitting the end of his days too, and those washed up receivers didn't really get much going. I know that I hit the D Hop yardage prop because it was so low and it was bound to hit. And shout out to him for getting a touchdown in the Super Bowl. I mean, he's a legendary player, probably a
He
Hall of
said he's
Famer.
coming back.
Yeah, I don't think he's coming back to the Chiefs, but he's definitely coming back to the NFL. He might be there still, but like I said, Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy running there. But this Eagles team, do you think they're set up for a dynasty? They are in a very tough division. I mean, that Cowboys team had a down year, and I know that Michael Parsons and CeeDee Lamb are saying, we're right there with the Eagles. They might not be right there with them, but that's a very strong football team that played a down year. The Redskins, Commanders, whatever you want to call them, put together a great team. They just went to the NFC Championship with a youthful roster, brand new coaching staff. So sky's the limit for that team there. And look at the points they put up against the Eagles too. I know they didn't have a great game against them, but they were in the mix a lot more than the Chiefs. So maybe they are right there too. That Giants team with the pass rush they have, I think they're just a quarterback away from being relevant too. So that's going to be a tough NFC East. Do you think they can run it back, get that back to the situation?
With the resume that they have over the past 4 years under Sirianni, you gotta think they do. I mean, Saquon's not known to be the healthiest player. Don't wanna, root for injuries, but hopefully he has another
Mhm.
healthy season.
Who
Like,
said
I
his
mean,
best is ahead of him?
yeah, I mean, and the point of what I want to make about Barkley is when you sat out from hitting that record, you had to win this game because that would suck if he would have sat out that last game, missed the record, and losing the Super Bowl in like heartbreaking fashion. If that's how it would
Yeah.
have went, that would have been a tough season for him. I'm glad to see them win, mostly for that reason. I wanted to see Barkley win. I do like Hurts, but the if back to your point about these other teams, like if I'm Buffalo, if I'm Baltimore, you look at this Chiefs team like, okay, we don't need to keep adding on offense. Like you can beat the Chiefs with 23 points, 24 points. You don't need to go score 45
You
like you
got to
do
get after Mahomes.
like you did to beat this Philly team the past 2 weeks. 55 points in the NFC Championship and 40 points in the Super Bowl. Like to beat the Chiefs now, it's just get pressure with 4, get a good defense. I know it's a lot easier said than done, but if I'm Buffalo, this draft and offseason, give me Myles Garrett, give me a first round defender linebacker, give me a cornerback. Like Josh Allen has shown he's going to get you there with whatever weapons he has.
Yeah,
Same with Lamar Jackson. Like you just got him Derrick Henry. Focus on that defense, and both of those teams could actually, like the Chiefs are beatable. They just showed us they're beatable.
but
Everyone thought it was like
it took them to the last breath to stop a
yeah.
three-peat. They're
Everyone
going to
thought
be
it
right
was
there.
everyone thought it was just a Brady thing when he lost to Brady in the Super Bowl, losing to Jalen Hurts, a quarterback that not many people see as a top 5 or quarterback. But obviously, everyone's saying, is this the best roster ever?
Yeah.
I think they're jumping to conclusions there. It's a
But it's
great
one of them.
team. It's hard to just immediately throw that out there because you could say that about any championship team, I feel like, unless you have a Cinderella story. But they definitely were the one that were supposed to get there. I still wish we would have got that Lions Philly game. I thought that would have been a great game, but Jaden Daniels, I think we're going to see that Commanders Eagles matchup going forward. Like you said, that's a tough division with. I mean, Mackey's Cowboys are never going to
It's
be
a
out
good
of it.
team. It's a
Yeah,
good team.
they're never going to be out of it as long as they have Dak, CD, and Micah Parsons.
And what if
Like you
Shadeur
said, that
Breeze
Giants
left in for
team,
the
who knows what
Giants
they're
team?
going to do at quarterback if they get Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward, and he works out. I mean, that NFC East could be very legit, very
Could be the
fast.
best division in football.
Yeah,
Another thing that's important to take into account, the home field advantage, the fact that both teams that went to the Super Bowl this year got to play every playoff game at home, very massive. I think if you want to beat the Chiefs in the AFC, you're going to have to somehow steal that regular season title
if
from
you're the
them.
Ravens, you can't lose to fucking the Raiders, and you know what I
Even though
mean.
even though 2 years ago, not this past year, the one before, they had the Chiefs in Baltimore and they ended
M&T.
up losing that game. But if you have Derrick Henry, you think maybe if you're at M&T, you do get the job done. Same with Buffalo. If you're in Buffalo, you think you would probably beat him. So you got to take advantage of those regular season games and no slip ups. Meanwhile, on the Eagles side, they did everything perfectly. Like we said, that was it 13-1 record to end the season. Way to be by
18
the
and 1.
18-1. Yeah, that's crazy. They turned it on. And the fact that the Lions got bounced early, all the injuries they had too, it was smooth sailing because they were in a dogfight. Remember that Rams game with the snow? They almost ended up throwing that game away. Who knows if that game was played in a different venue, if they didn't have to play at the link, maybe this elite Eagles team doesn't actually get there. They faced some tough tests in the NFC, but they handled their own and they coasted all the way throughout the Super Bowl this week. Couple of other things, the halftime show performance, seen a lot of people going back and forth on that. I mean, I like Kendrick Lamar as an artist. I don't look much deeper into it, but some people, like to dissect and talk about politics. I'm
Yeah,
going to keep it at ground level. The fact about his performance, I wish it was a little bit longer. I don't like when they play short versions and only the new hits. Would have loved to have seen some old ones like
he
Collard
has so many
Greens,
good
Money
songs, but
Trees,
yeah, like I
Poetic
was disappointed
Justice.
that it was just a whole let's just show everyone how much I hate Drake and want to make this about me dissing
The
Drake.
fact
And
that he dissed Drake on the biggest stage is kind of nuts, though.
I was waiting for it as soon as he started that song. I was like, is he gonna say the name or is he gonna like headbutt it and not
Hey,
say the
Drake,
word?
I heard you
Yeah,
like him
he
young.
looked right at that picture of him looking right at the camera, smiling.
Yeah.
That is really good. I'm not
He
the biggest.
wins he wins the beep over that, right?
What'd you say?
He has to solidify the winning of the
Oh
beef
yeah,
with that.
yeah. I love Drake, but yeah, it's hard to beat that.
Yeah, that was
And it's
awesome.
coming out that was the most watched Super Bowl of all time, most watched halftime show of all time. I mean, every year they break their own record, so
As they should. And
yeah,
what's pretty crazy about this one? It was like dominated by streaming devices. I think there was more streaming for this game than there
on
was for
cable.
cable TV. Yeah. Even though Fox owned the rights for everything. But I saw a lot of things too saying they pumped in crowd noise for all different stuff. Celebrities, halftime show, the game itself. Fox animated that in. What about Taylor Swift too? Didn't have much to show on the screen this time around. Getting booed too. The face she made was kind of funny though. I don't get why she gets so much hate. I liked Barkley's quote today. He said all she does is grow the game. Too much hate on her for it.
Yeah,
So
but like she can't like act surprised when she gets booed. Like don't wonder who they're booing. Like
yeah,
they're clearly booing you. You're in a stadium full of Eagles fans.
and she's on the most hated team in the NFL at the dynasty that
And
people.
she claims that she's from whatever. She used to be an Eagles fan, was from Philly, whatever it is. Like she even said she like Benedict Arnold traded them. Like just date the player on the other team, and now they're playing in a Super Bowl. You're not going to get a good response from that
Travis
fan base,
Kelsey catching a double O two,
especially a Philly fan base. No shot.
and then his ex girl showing up at the stadium. She was at the NFL awards, and then she's there after too, celebrating with the Eagles.
Did you see the whole thing about Gardner Johnson and
Yeah. Oh
that whole
yeah. Yeah.
situation?
Yep. Yep.
What he said about you should be
That
still
guy
be
has
dating
no
another
filter
girl.
on the field, off the field. He's just going at people's necks. And the funny thing is, he gets exposed more than anybody on the field.
He's not good for how much he talks. And so did you see how it led into like all the Swifties are leaving reviews on his mom's restaurant's
Oh
website? Like,
God.
dude, the people do some insane digging. The internet amazes me how people find this stuff so fast. Then if you looked up the mom's restaurant, it was literally like 450 like you couldn't scroll with you had to scroll pages to find anything but a 1-star review. Like Google and Yelp, they know when shit like that happens. I think they flagged all those reviews, but still, like, I I don't know that situation was
CGJ, keep your mouth shut, buddy. He never will
yeah.
though. He brought the ski masks out in Detroit, and now he's
I
the
was gonna
Super
say
Bowl
I remember
champion.
the ski mask in Detroit. That was sick.
Yeah, I've always respected his game, but the wheels are definitely falling off for him as he's gotten
He was
older.
so good in New Orleans, and then ever since then, he kind of
That's just DB though, classic DB life for you. Anything else you think about this game though? I thought it was pretty cool. I like some of the stuff that they had going on. I thought it was a great show down there in Louisiana. And shout out to the Eagles once again. I mean, what a hell of a game plan they put together to beat Patrick Mahomes. Oh, last thing I do want to ask you. So we talked about the Eagles coming back. We do think they can successfully get back here, even though they have a very, very tough division, one of the toughest in football.
And
Chiefs
losing their
Dynasty.
coordinator.
Chiefs Dynasty, dead or no?
No,
No, I
no.
don't think so either. I
They'll
think a
be
lot of
back.
people
I guarantee they'll be back in at least the divisional round next year.
Yeah, a lot of people overreacting, saying that Mahomes is a fraud. I mean, you can't fault the guy for one game there. I mean, yeah, he didn't show up. Not everybody's Tom Brady, and they're going to show up and have a great game every time. But he is a great quarterback who led his team to the championship once again, defeating some great teams on the way. Because that Bills team was a team of destiny. A lot of people picked them to win the championship this year. Um, so I
Pending
think
any injuries, we'll see Mahomes Allen or Mahomes Jackson or Mahomes Burrow next year in the playoffs. One of those.
this might have been one of the worst teams Mahomes had around him too. I think the running backs are kind of weak this year. The weakest running back game he had. The
An
receivers,
old
well,
Kelsey.
I think the big thing was losing Rasheed Rice.
Yeah.
Because if you had him and Worthy, the way Worthy's come on, that guy's going to be a stud for years to come. And that
Re- it-
defense too. They lost what's his name last year. Was it McDuffie?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they lost the cornerback to the Titans too. So I mean,
Snead.
yeah, the Jerry Sneed. That's what I meant because they
Yeah.
still have McDuffie actually.
Yeah.
They
McDuffie's
lost.
he was a rookie last year.
Yeah, even guys like Justin Reed, he's getting a little bit up there in age. He made a couple big plays in the Super Bowl. You got to get Chris Jones healthy, and keep him around. I think his contract's coming up too. Best player on the defensive side of the ball. So we'll see how
They said the Chiefs might go get Myles Garrett.
That would be insane. They need to add more, and I think they probably have some money to play with, especially if Kelsey ends up retiring. Because who else are they paying besides some guys on that O line, Chris Jones and Pat Mahomes?
Yeah. I mean, maybe I don't know what Nick Bolton makes. Is he? I feel like he's a little
McDuffie,
older than I
I think
expect.
he did get
McDuffie's
paid.
on a
Actually,
rookie deal.
I thought they just paid him.
That's why they didn't re-sign Snead because they were like, we have McDuffie and he's
Yeah.
on a rookie deal. We don't have to worry about it for a couple of years.
Yeah, so I mean, they'll retool and get back to it. The Eagles already set for destiny with the roster they have and how young they are, but the Chiefs just gotta remake that roster and they'll be right back there in the mix. But let's not forget the AFC West is getting stronger. Got to think the Raiders turn around with Pete Carroll. Maybe they add to it, and then the Broncos with Bo Nix and Sean Payton are turning up. And then the Chargers, Justin Herbert. I know they can't really win the big games. Harbaugh will keep them competitive though. And Herbert, you and I think he's a good quarterback, so he'll get back there.
Yeah, and then other news in the NFL, New Orleans Saints, the last team to fill in their head coaching position as they hire Eagles offensive coordinator Kellen Moore to be the franchise's next head coach. Do you think a young head coach like Kellen Moore can help turn around this culture down there in New Orleans?
I don't know. I mean, I think Kellen Moore is going to be a good coach. I've been a fan of him. He did a great job with the Eagles, done a great job where he's been before, but that's a dumpster fire you're working into. Terrible cap situation. And what are the bright spots of that offense? Chris Olave, questioning retirement because of all the concussions. You have an aging Alvin Kamara. The O-line's pretty solid, but you don't really have a quarterback. I guess some of the young guys on the outside, what's his name? The receiver that I was a big fan of. Who? Yeah, Rashid Shaheed. Yeah, he got hurt partway through the year too. They have a couple of young guys that stepped up behind him.
Kellen Moore and Derek Carr played each other in college?
That sounds about right. Yeah, Derek Carr is up there in age now. I remember Kellen Moore playing in the league.
Kellen Moore, Boise State, and Derek Carr was, I think, Fresno State.
Is Derek Carr their slated starter going into the year still?
If I was a Saints fan, I would hope not, but I think
it's
that's
not Rattler. I don't think it's anybody on the roster.
Yeah, because Carr was hurt last year, so they're gonna use that excuse like, he didn't get a full year of them. Like, I remember. Do you remember the first 2 weeks of the season last year? Derek Carr looked like he was on pace for an MVP.
You mean when we said the Saints were terrible and they won 2 massive games and scored like over 100 points in 2 games?
They beat the Cowboys, who turned out to be frauds, and who's the other team they beat in week 1? I'll look that up.
Yeah, I mean, but regardless, I mean, I guess everybody did get hurt. Without Shaheed, without Olave, without Hill even got hurt. Kamara, Jamal Williams was hurt at some points. Kendre Miller, the whole defense too. I mean,
Panthers, they crushed the Panthers.
Yeah, and I expect that Panthers team to be strong. Look the way Bryce Young was playing. I think that might be something to keep your eyes on is Bryce Young's statistical props going into next year. But going back to the original point, Kellen Moore, great success with a loaded roster. I'm eager to see how he does as a head coach in a rebuilding Saints team in a division that's trending up too. I think the Falcons will be better with Michael Penix. I think that
the Panthers are going to have a better year.
The Bucs found their guy with Baker Mayfield. They're always going to be competitive with the roster and culture that they put together since Brady was there. And then Bryce Young in the youth in Carolina too. That's a tough spot to go as New Orleans, but we'll see if he can turn around. Then I'll give him kudos.
I read this article the other day. It was from a Carolina Panthers beat reporter basically saying that the Panthers are needed of a receiver this offseason, similar to last year, and they think the
Not Cooper
Steelers
Cup.
they think the Steelers are gonna be their suitor, and they think they're gonna get Pickens.
That would be a good one. I don't think I saw something saying that Cooper Cup could go there. I'm like, they don't need to bring in Adam Thielen and Cooper
Yeah,
Cup.
you don't need I was just gonna say you don't need 2 Adam Thielens out
Yeah,
there.
that's crazy. But we'll have to see. There's a lot of dominoes to fall. Also, the big news of the Jets cutting Aaron Rodgers. That's going to be pretty important to see too. Where does he go? I've seen some rumors, Huff, that he's going to end up being a Steeler. There's a big. What's the big quarterback carousel here? Because think about some of the names that are hitting the market. Matt Stafford, probably right. We
I
have
would
Aaron Rodgers.
if the Steelers are gonna do this thing where we just sign a fucking 35-year-old quarterback every year, going into next year, give me Stafford or Russ. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I would
I
just.
do not want Aaron Rodgers. I
As
cannot
a
make that more
Steelers
clear.
fan, I would. If you're gonna go with a new old guy, run it back with Russ, I guess.
That's
Well,
what I'm
if
saying. No, at least give Russ another year. Like,
Yeah, but personally, I know you're not gonna wanna hear this, but I would give it to Justin Fields and see if he could have a career resurgence. He's
they
younger,
they
you
think
know,
Fields is gonna get offered way too much money from, like, the Titans or Giants or Seahawks or
because he's one
one
of
of the
those young guys that could have a resurgence. We saw Sam Darnold do it. We saw Baker Mayfield do it. He's a top pick with athletic ability, and he hasn't really been given a great opportunity with a strong offense around him. So I think the jury's not out on him. But Sam Darnold, Matt Stafford, I saw Jacoby Brissett was getting bounced around too. There's a couple other veteran quarterbacks that need to find homes, and it's going to be I'm eager to see where they go. I personally wouldn't want Aaron Rodgers in any of my systems,
No.
but
You asked I remember you said, "What would it take for you to think this Steelers team isn't good?" We bring in Aaron Rodgers, that's them waving the white flag. Let's sell some jerseys and let's get 4 wins next year.
yeah, I think a big one would be, you know, who the Patriots have been shopping, and I said it a lot last year, and it's looking like a third round pick is the prices. Joe Milton. I mean, why wouldn't you take a flyer on him in a weak QB class this year too?
A great move would be to re-sign Fields and get Milton.
Yeah, I think I heard the Giants could be in on him because then you can use your top round pick not on a quarterback, especially where you're reaching on a quarterback. This is one of the weakest quarterback classes we've had in years. Go out and get a guy who looked really good in limited play time. He has the athletic ability. Why not take a shot on him for a third round pick? I think you could do a lot less. And my Patriots will take the asset any day of the week because we have our guy.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot going on in the NFL for the offseason. We'll get into some of our last year we did those top 5 rankings to get us through the offseason. We'll be starting that in the coming weeks.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for that.
Lots of NFL draft coming in April, and then obviously free agency. That's obviously everything we all love to see where some of these guys end up going. But we'll jump into the NHL. We have our power rankings, then we'll get into the Four Nations face-off stuff. So the power rankings for I guess this week going forward. There's no hockey till next Saturday. So we have the Carolina Hurricanes at 5, Florida Panthers at 4, Dallas Stars at 3, Washington Capitals at 2, and the Winnipeg Jets sitting up there at number 1. Is there anything you want to say about this power rankings? Like I said, no hockey for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
so this is probably going to be our list till the
Yes.
NHL comes back.
One thing I'm going to say is those Caps and Jets are going to stay up there all year long. I think they're both regular season heroes, though. We see it with Hellebuck in the way that that team implodes in the playoffs. I know that they have a great roster and great players, but year in and year
Let's
out, they
run
can't get
into
the
Dallas or Vegas and lose.
Colorado too. Colorado's in a
Yeah.
wild card spot right now. Then talking about the Capitals, I know they're playing great hockey, so we have to give credit. But how much do you think they're a first round exit?
I've said whoever gets in is that second wild card. That's who you want to see.
And that second wild card is a bloodbath right now in the East. My Bruins and Mackey's Rangers are two very strong teams that you don't want to see if you're the Capitals, sitting right outside of it. I know that the Blue Jackets are right there. The Ottawa Senators are right there. There's a few other teams.
The Caps would beat the Senators or the Blue Jackets.
Tampa Bay Lightning right there in the mix. I mean, the Senators with Linus Olmark now in the mix. He's a good enough goalie to get the job done if he gets in there. But the Lightning, the Bruins, the Rangers, those are tough teams to see if they're coming out of the wild card, especially if you're the Caps after a career year, or if you're one of the teams from Atlantic and you get your division rival, especially the goaltenders they have. Then in the West, I expect that the Wild keep falling a little bit. I could see them going to a wild card spot. I do think they make the playoffs in flurries last year, and with Gustafsson, who started in the Four Nations tonight. I think the Avalanche start turning up a little bit with Blackwood in the mix at goaltender. It's starting to get healthy up front. I think that Natchez was a good ad there. And McKinnon, you know how good him and Makar are.
Yeah.
Their depth showing up too. I think they're going to make a couple more moves too. I saw that they might move Middlestat. I saw that Sam Bennett might be on the market for
When
the.
is the NHL trade deadline?
I think it's a few weeks after, maybe the end of this month, a few weeks after the Four
Four
Nations
Nations
face
face
off.
off, yeah.
So I know that Bennett's going to be shopped potentially by the Panthers, which makes no sense to me, but I don't think they're going to re-sign him if that's what they're going to end up doing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dominoes to fall here, and that's going to be important. Look what the Hurricanes did. They brought in Rand, and I mean, he's turned that team up. They've been electric. They cracked their top five for the first time in a while. That Dallas Stars team's a wagon. They brought in Mikhail Granlund from the Sharks, and he made an immediate impact. He's on power play one. He plays with Matt Duchene, who used to play together in Nashville, and they're playing great. Look at the LA Kings too. They're playing good hockey. Quentin Byfield starting to turn it up. LaFerriere, some of those other guys. And then look at the youth that's starting to turn up. You know what's my favorite part is when that college season ends too, and those guys get to come up to the league. I saw something the other day that said, "Do you think Riley Leonard from BC will be able to assist Alexander Ovechkin's goal that passes Wayne Gretzky?" I'm like, that's a pretty cool scenario. I didn't even think about that. He's a great player, the American there. So I'm excited to see those guys jump into the league. I'm excited to
When
see
is the Frozen Four? Isn't that coming up?
a little bit further away for the playoffs there. We just had the Beanpot and Cole Hudson and Cole Eiserman there getting the job done for BU, taking out number one ranked BC. That was great to see. They brought in Macklin Salvadrini and Lane Hudson to do the
I
lineup
saw
read
that
too.
video. Yeah.
Yeah, so they were all hyped up. But the talent in college hockey now is insane. So definitely keep your eyes on that. I was thinking about getting tickets this weekend to BU heading to PC, but for college hockey tickets, I think they're over like $70 to see that game. So might end up going to a URI basketball game, PC basketball, or Brown hockey game against Cornell if we can't get the sold out tickets. But that PCBU game is going to be nuts. But I'm excited to watch Lane Hudson and Macklin Celebrini go head to head for that Calder trophy. Yeah, is it Calder Trophy for the Rookie of the Year, essentially
Yeah.
in the NHL because their odds are pretty even. I think Macklin's definitely going to take it home, but Lane Hudson, the Apple man, he leads the league. He might set the rookie record for most assists in a year. So there's a
Is he
lot
a
going on.
defenseman?
Yeah, he is a defenseman.
Yeah,
The
they
way
said
him,
he is a they said he's on pace to set the some record for points by the rookie defenseman, I think it was.
yeah, assists. I think he's already above like 35, 36, and we're
Yeah,
only
that's
like
crazy.
we still have like 30 games left, 25 games left.
And it's his brother that's on BU, right?
Cole Hudson, who's probably an even better skater than him. The two of them are great skaters, and you
Are
want
they
to know?
both
I
they're
saw
both defensemen?
Yeah, and I saw that the way that they play, that if you watch them ski, they just float out there on the ice. And I guess it's because when they were kids, their dad used to have them warm up with their skates untied for 30 minutes on the ice so they could learn their edges. Then you can tell because the way they skate, they're probably two of the best skaters I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
Smaller guys too, but just great heads for the game. So much speed. They're new style NHL big time.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you said we have this Four Nations face-off getting underway tonight with Canada taking on Sweden in this opening game. Thursday night, we get to see our U.S. squad taking on Finland. Jesse will be in attendance for USA Finland tomorrow night up there in Montreal. What would you say you're most excited for on this best-on-best tournament?
Oh, you already know what it is. It's USA and Canada. I mean, that matchup's gonna be insane. But this Canada-Sweden game is great. The Sweden team is loaded. The only thing I'm gonna say though is the two weaker goalies in the tournament are starting tonight. It's Gustafson versus Binnington, and that's the Achilles heel of the Team Canada. Their goalies Aiden Hill, Jordan Binnington, and I can't remember the third. But I think that's where they could end up getting scored on early and often because we know Team USA is stacked with their tendies. They have Hellebuck and they have Ottinger and Swayman backing them up. And Finland has, I believe, UPL in net for them, who's pretty solid as well. We're missing some of those great Russian goaltenders. You know how Russia's not in the tournament. No Vasilevsky, Sorokin, Shesterkin.
Why is it only 4 countries? Do you know?
I think that's just the way they have it set up because if not, the Czech Republic's the next one that would probably be in, and then Russia, obviously, too. I think just the way the tournament because they're doing that round robin and the top two playing the championship. Wouldn't be surprised if the next time this comes around, maybe they swap out the lowest team, which is my guess is going to be Finland for the Czechs or something like that. Because I know Pasternak is making a big stink about his guys not being there because they have a good enough roster to compete with these teams too. But these are the 4 deepest nations, I believe. Besides Russia, they probably have the most players in the NHL. And when you look at their lineups, they're stacked. Tonight we get to see that Canada power play. Did you see all the guys they have on that one? It's
Disgusting.
Crosby, McKinnon, Makar, and Reinhart, I believe, the leading goal
Yeah, I
scorer.
was gonna say Makar and Reinhardt are at top.
Yeah, and everybody thought it was gonna be Mitch
How do
Marner,
you
but
what the heck do you do to stop that?
yeah, that's what Brad Marshall. They asked Brad Marshall on that. He got interviewed. They're like, "How do you stop that?" He said, "Maybe they put all 3 goalies in the net and they can keep the
Yeah,
puck out."
yeah, I did see that.
But then again, you have to think like some of these teams are going to have their great kills out there. That USA lineup is so stacked. I mean, you got the Kachucks, the Hughes, Matthews, McAvoy. The Tundys are great. Kyle
And well,
Connor, Matt Boldy's on the 4th line. I wish they would have cut Chris Kreider and maybe Vinny Trocheck or Brock Nelson. In that picture of Brock Nelson where it's like grandpa,
Dude,
it's hilarious.
that should be illegal. I
Yeah,
thought that was like an old school hockey picture, like
I
coach
thought it was
got
an
a
edit.
picture in
Yeah.
the uniform.
No, but the fact that those guys made it over Tage Thompson, Clayton Keller, and Cole
Yeah,
Caulfield is massively outrageous
Clayton
to me.
Keller and Tate Thompson should be there.
And Cole Caulfield, the year he's having is insane, one of the top goal scorers. But you
Yeah,
know
it's
what this but you know what though? This is put on by the NHL. They're gonna give respect to the veterans. They're gonna give it to the big market teams, some big names, because you know what's coming up soon is the Olympics. And I think when the Olympic roster drops, we'll see those young faces on that team.
You think with that you the one of the host stadiums is Montreal. I'm surprised Cole Caulfield didn't make that team.
Yeah, I think, like I said, it's just because they're so young. And he didn't really start getting off to a career pace until this year. The last 2 years, it was just the potential, and now he's really clicking. But they
Who
gave
else is
respect.
on it? Like Larkin. I like Dylan Larkin. I was glad to see him get on there.
Yeah, Matt Boldy. I'm happy to see him on that fourth line there.
Matthews, the Kachucks, the
I've got
Hughes.
the full roster right here for Team
Who's the
USA
goalies? Ottinger and Hellebuck.
and Swayman. Their
Swayman.
their forwards: Matt Boldy, Kyle Connor, Jack Eichel, Jake Gensel, Jack Hughes, Chris Carter mid, Dylan Larkin, Austin Matthews, JT Miller, Brady Kachuk, Matt Kachuk, and then Brock Nelson and Vinny Trocheck. I mean, those two
Brock
Rangers got.
Nelson and
Brock Nelson's actually a really good player. I think
yeah,
Trocheck and Kreider are the two least on their team.
I
But
was gonna say
they're playing
Kreider.
on the fourth line with Matt Boldy. So like you do need guys, so they're going to play a fourth line role.
Yeah.
They're defensemen though, all young guys on the back end. They're studs. Adam Fox, Quinn Hughes, Charlie McAvoy, Zach Werenski, who's having a career year. He's probably going to win the
He's
Norris
so good.
actually. Jacob Slavin, who's always finding himself on there, kind of an underrated defenseman
Did
because
not know he was American.
yeah, he's always been on that team, and he's been underrated, I think, because the Hurricanes have guys like Orlov and Burns, and then all those forwards. Noah Hannafin from the Vegas Golden Knights, and then
I like
Brock
him.
Faber, who really turned it up this year with those iconic glasses in
Yeah.
his photo shoots. Um,
He's Minnesota, right?
yeah, and then
Yeah.
but listen to this is the Achilles heel for Canada because there. Let me go through the Canada forwards real quick: Bennett, Sorelli, Crosby, Hagel, Jarvis, Konechny, McKinnon, Marchand, McDavid, Point, Reinhart, Stone. I think our team is better. Their top end talent's better, but their defensemen are a little bit weaker. Makar and Morrissey, yeah, they're disgusting. But it's Parayko, Doughty, Sanheim, Theodore, and Taze.
They have the 3 best players in the tournament, but other than that, USA has a better roster.
What Crosby, McKinnon, McDavid, Makar,
Yeah, they might have the
Marner,
4 best players in the tournament.
Point,
I guess
Reinhart.
Matthews is in that top there.
Yeah, but the USA lineup, top to bottom, I mean, our goalies are way better. Listen to their goalies though: Binnington, Hill, and Montebaugh. That's so weak compared to Hellebuck,
Yeah.
Ottinger, and Swayman. Let me read you the Sweden lineup really quick though, because the Sweden lineup's actually pretty gross too.
I saw Erik Karlsson made it.
The fact that Olmark's not starting over Gustafson's not, but Gus's numbers this year have been really good. And Olmark has been coming off injury. On defense, they have Carlson, Hedman, Dahlin, Brodin, Anderson, Rasmus Anderson, Matthias Ekholm, Gustav Forsling. They're pretty good. Arvidsson, Jesper Bratt's been great. Leo Carlson, the young stud. Eriksson Ek, Philip Forsberg, Dog. William Carlson, we know how good he is. Kempe, who's underrated in how good he plays out in LA. He's one of the reasons that they're
I was
still in
gonna
the
say
mix.
is, what is Kevin Fiala? Is he American or is he?
Yeah, I believe he's American.
I
Elias
wouldn't mind
Lindholm's
to see him
there.
on the team. I like him.
William Nylander, Gus Nyquist, Elias Pettersson, Lucas Raymond, Mika Zibanejad. Lucas Raymond's having a great year in Detroit. And then the weakest team in the tournament here, I think, is Finland. Their goalies are Lankinen, UPL, and UC Saros. Actually, Saros, I think, is the starter.
They
UPL's UPL's really good too, though. He's had a great year.
Yeah,
Lankinen
he's young.
stepped in well for the injured Demko. Their defense,
great name.
their defense are a little bit weak, and the fact that Miro Heiskanen's hurt now for the season for the Dallas Stars, that's their best defenseman. So now they're rocking with Issa Lindell, Ali Mata, who you forget Sun League, Nico Mikola from the Panthers, that's the huge guy, Rasmus Ristolainen, Juuso Valimaki, and Yanni Hakapana. I mean, that's not too strong with defensive core. All really good players in the NHL, but those aren't even the best defensemen on their own team.
Yeah.
Up front, though, they have some big names: Sebastian Aho, Alexander Barkov, Rupe Hintz, Patrick Laine, Mikko Rantanen. Then they have some depth there that's relevant. Turbo, Tuvo Teravainen, Eetu Luostarinen, Anton Lundell, Terry Lekkonen, Capo Caco, Eric Holla, and then Mikhail Granlund's putting together a great year and just got dealt from San Jose to Dallas.
So they got some guys. Barkov, the top end's not bad.
Barkov, Rantanen, Aho, like Laine. They have their firepower for sure. Philip Forsberg. So it'll be interesting to see. I hope we get USA
That's what,
Canada.
7:00 tonight.
Yeah, so it's starting off here quickly. My buddy's going up to the game on Monday So he's gonna go see that one in the TD Garden. You know what's cool too is they're doing a bunch of meet and greets, so I'm giving him some
Oh, it's at
gear.
8 p.m.
Yeah, so he's giving me. I'm giving him some gear. He gets to meet Tuukka Rask, Charlie Coyle, Biz is gonna be there. So
That's
it's a
sick.
yeah, a whole nice little weekend. So hopefully I can get some autographs there. I wonder if Jesse's gonna be able to meet any people up there when he goes, because I know that they're doing like all these fan fests.
Who they play who in Boston?
I don't know who he's seeing. I think he's definitely seeing
The
Team
U.S.
USA.
Canada. That's Saturday.
No, I think he's going Monday. I think it might be USA Finland.
That's who. That's probably USA Sweden because they play Finland tomorrow.
Monday is USA Sweden. Yeah, you're right. It's
Okay.
at the TD Garden. Oh, I think he's seeing both games. He's seeing Canada Finland. That's who he's seeing,
Oh,
which is
that's pretty cool.
that's pretty
Yeah.
electric.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, I think you get to see both games if you go. I'm not too sure because then USA Sweden's at night, 1 o'clock and 8 o'clock. So I don't know if he's staying for both, but that's going to be electric. I'm excited to see it. Matt Kachuk saying it's the first exciting hockey he's felt since some of those game sevens last year. So I'm hyped that they're going to be playing hard too, representing their country. That's the one big thing is when you play for your country, especially hockey players, they go hard. And I hope Team USA continues to showcase its world dominance. I want to see it here. I want to see it continued in juniors where they went back to back, and I want to see it in the Olympics too. That's the biggest stage where I think we deserve a gold. But USA hockey keeps getting better and better. The talent level we have is insane.
Absolutely. I'm excited for those games tonight. Getting underway, like we said, with Canada and Sweden, USA, Finland tomorrow. We'll try to get some plays out there for you on our NHL card. So stay tuned for that on our social medias. But we'll slide now into the NBA. All we have is our power rankings this week. Number 5, the Los Angeles Lakers. We had Luka make his debut last week on a minutes restriction. Goes for 14 points. Look pretty good at the
They
start.
crushed them though, didn't they?
Lots of exciting things coming for those Lakers. That's why they slide in here. Mackey's New York Knicks at 4, the Cleveland Cavaliers at 3, your Celtics back at 2, and the Oklahoma City Thunder still sitting at number 1. I did take the Lakers plus 1,200 to win the finals.
Yeah, did you do it right when that Luka trade happened too?
I did it.
Was that before or after the Mark Williams trade got canceled?
I did it when after the Mark Williams trade got sent back.
All right, so the odds probably went up a little bit when that
Yeah.
happened. Do you see they brought in Alex Len too? I think that's a good ad.
It's a depth piece. It's not
Yeah,
what they like. They need something way
They
better
need
than Alex
someone better,
Len.
but they're not going to get anything else. But that's a good piece off the bench.
I'd rather them have Dwight Howard personally.
Len's probably gives them more, but Dwight Howard's more of like a culture scheme fit on a LeBron
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
But what
And
about the
he won with them before. He was AD's like
yeah,
center.
but how long ago was that? When's the last time he played in the NBA?
Probably a year after they won that ring, 2020.
Yeah, it's too long ago. Len's a 7-footer, so he's a good rim protector too. I do think that Austin Reeves. I mean, did you see the way he was shooting the ball the other day? That
Dude, he
guy's
had a 40-point game. Was it a 40 or 35-point game on Saturday against the Pacers?
yeah, that guy's evolution is coming about strong, and I think that's the reason that they're able to like people underrate how good he is.
There's a reason LeBron didn't let them ship him off at the deadline.
Yeah, exactly, and he's
They
starting
got
to
a
play.
good return for Austin Reeves.
The way he's playing, it looks like he's one of those Golden State Warriors. The way he just runs around, gets to the 3-point line, smacks threes. But with him, Luka, and LeBron, it was so fun to watch. You know, everybody's eyes are on it now because it's must-watch TV.
Yeah.
But imagine we end up getting a Celtics-Lakers final.
I truly think, like, right hand up to God, I think that's exactly what it's going to be.
Yeah, scripted for that. Imagine the viewership would go through the roof for the NBA because the NBA viewership has been terrible. Huff, if you can find the line right now for a Celtics-Lakers final, that would be a nuts piece to throw on.
I probably can. Let me see it.
But I mean, the Celtics passed the Lakers last year by
You think
one.
you think that's the favorite like combination?
No, because the Lakers are such long shots.
It's probably gonna be probably something Celtics Thunder is probably the favorite.
Celtics Thunder, Celtics Nuggets, right?
Let's see. I don't want All-Star Weekend. Let me try to find this futures NBA.
Talking about that Celtics team, I mean, last year they passed them for most championships too. So this would be the Lakers' year to tie it back up.
Yeah,
for ring count.
Celtics Lakers is only plus 1,400. I just have the Lakers at plus 1,200.
Oh, so you might as well. That's the Lakers to win it all, not even to get there. I mean, this is for both of them.
This is just to get there. If you do, like, say you were like, I want to bet the Celtics to beat the Lakers plus 2,500. If you were to bet the Lakers to beat the Celtics,
that's probably pretty high.
Yeah, it's probably. I bet it's over plus 3,000. It's all in alphabetical order. Where the fuck is this? There's so many fucking options. Holy shit. Lakers to beat the Hawks, Celtics, plus 2,200. It's more favorited for the Lakers to beat the Celtics than the Celtics to beat the Lakers.
Probably because they just think if LeBron gets to the finals, he's winning.
He's not gonna lose.
Yeah, with Luca too. But that's pretty interesting. But yeah, what about some of these other teams though that are outside of our list here? I know Embiid getting booed back in Philly now that he's playing regularly. We have the Cavs under the Celtics. The Celtics beat them head to head last week. The Grizzlies, a really strong team. The Nuggets, another really strong team that's missing our rankings. The Rockets.
I'll tell you a team that no one wants to talk about that I liked a lot what they did at this deadline was Toronto.
Yeah,
Uh,
they're,
you
they're they're starting to win games again too.
Yeah, they have a nice young core up there. Grady Dick, um,
Scotty Barnes,
Scotty Barnes. Now you get a veteran like Brandon Ingram that can
who
score.
signed a 3-year extension for what, 122 million?
Yeah, they just paid him. They have a pretty nice little roster up there. The RJ Barrett, I always forget about him.
Mm-hmm.
Emmanuel Quickly,
Mm-hmm.
from the Knicks, two guys that came over from the Knicks. I was shocked the Knicks traded them, but the Raptors have a nice little team up there, especially once they get Brandon Ingram
Who's better,
going.
them or the Pacers?
Dude, I might take that Raptors team now.
Yeah, the
I like
Pacers still
how
a
young
strong
they
team
are.
too.
Halliburton's too inconsistent.
I'm a big Pascal Siakam fan though. He's been turning up
I
lately.
bet Siakam wishes he was back in Toronto right now.
I don't know though. He's putting up over 25 points a game lately.
He's like the star of that team, yeah.
Yeah, he's been on fire.
But imagine you slide Ingram at the 3 and Siakam at the 4
Yeah,
in
there's no way they
Toronto.
afford both, but
Yeah.
agreed. And then out west, I mean, the Spurs, hopefully they can get going. That De'Aaron Fox trade looks really nice there. Kings still a valid team out west. The Grizzlies playing great basketball. I know they're not in our top 5 this week, but
They're
they're
so
right
good.
there.
They're
Them and the
really
Nuggets are right there. The only reason we have the Lakers in is because they just added Luca, and we want to see how far they can go with him in the mix. But those are some really good teams. Jimmy Butler and the Warriors. Do you think they're going to be able to stay relevant? I know he had a strong first game with them too.
they'll be a play-in team.
Yeah, and they'll be tough to see in the playoffs though if they can win a play-in.
And I don't think Sacramento will be. I think the Spurs could sneak in as that 10 seed in the play-in.
Yes, Kings are
With
a
the way
tough team
Fox
though.
and Wemby are playing, that's not a team you wanna see.
Yeah, but the Kings
Especially
with
in a one-game elimination.
Kings with Sabonis, Gussie Levine fits in too, but they have a strong roster as well. It's going to be
Yeah.
interesting to see. NBA's heating up.
They love losing games. Like,
Yeah,
they never win close games.
no, that's not a historic franchise. It's just the way that it goes. Then the Bucks silently still hanging around. Especially the healthy Giannis coming down the
Pistons.
stretch.
Pistons in the 6 seed is
Keith
crazy.
Cunningham, yeah, he's playing great basketball. What about Malik Beasley setting the single season record for 3-pointers made last night?
Yeah, I was gonna say the Pistons this year remind me of, like, the Magic from last year.
Yeah,
That
and the Magic are
franchise
a
that
strong team too with Banchero back healthy. He's looked good.
Yeah, they slipped way too far when they lost him, but, I
Mhm.
mean, when he's playing, they're really good. They're
Yeah,
not really good, they're good.
he carries big
Yeah.
time. But Keith Cunningham with some pieces around him has been fun to watch too. I agree. But yeah, a lot of fun stuff happening in the NBA. We'll definitely
I
keep following
saw
that as it goes.
then obviously the Hawks traded DeAndre Hunter to the Cavs, which I thought was a
Holding my boy Trey Young captive.
great move. Yeah, seriously, and they will not get rid of Trey Young. I wish they would have because they own the Spurs own their pick, and obviously Cooper Flag coming out. We could get Wemby, Fox, Castle, Cooper Flag. That would
That'd
be
be
a
nuts.
crazy team down in San Antonio.
The two
Uh,
guys that need to get freed are Trey Young and LaMelo Ball. Let them go play on
yes,
meaningful teams.
yes. They were saying the Lakers were in play for LaMelo Ball before they got Luka.
Everybody wants LaMelo Ball though. I
Yeah,
think the Hornets know they can get a king's ransom for him though.
yeah. Especially more, they definitely get more than the Mavs just got for Luka. I can tell you that.
What about the Clippers team? That's like the silent team that's always in the mix.
They're always in the mix, but I feel like they're never going to be contenders.
Zubac, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. Or no, Paul George not there anymore. Paul George on the Sixers. But yeah, I mean with Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, right?
They don't scare me.
No, but they're always going to be there. Mavericks too.
Yeah,
Is it AD's out for a while? I
like
don't think he's out for the year, but he's out for a while, right?
here's who's in the play-in right now in the West before the games tonight. Number 7 Timberwolves, number 8 Dallas, number 9 Sacramento, number 10 Golden State. I think Minnesota gets in that top
I don't
6.
think Minnesota's good.
I think they're better than the Clippers. I think
They're
they'll.
not a
I
good
think
enough roster though.
yeah, no, they're not deep. They needed to do something at the deadline.
And they
I don't know
didn't.
why they didn't, but
Maybe
um,
they knew this wasn't their year to win it all though, and they didn't want to
yeah.
give up their assets because they have their future ahead
They
of
s
them.
they said that someone, a Minnesota representative or something said they came after they offered them Luka, but they wanted Anthony Edwards back, and the Timberwolves
Yeah,
were
he's
like,
no,
nope,
no, no.
like, no shot."
They want to pair them, but
Yeah.
if AD can get back healthy, I would be afraid of that Mavericks team as a low seed because Kyrie, you know how good he can play. He's been great all year. Klay Thompson on his wing too, and AD is one of the best players in the NBA when he's healthy. So hopefully he gets good soon. Also, shout out to the Thunder, my boy Chet Holmgren back in the mix. He's sitting out
Yeah,
tonight for load management, but they got him back now too. So that team's gonna be firing.
yeah. Like we said, great game coming up with the Spurs and Celtics. I hope that's a good one. I'll be watching that until this Four Nations
And
face
you're
off
gonna probably watch
way.
some Luca basketball later tonight, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pissed they play the Jazz again. I want to see them playing like a good game, but
Yeah.
it'll come. They play Dallas in like 2 weeks, but
Oh, that'll be
maybe
fun.
next week. But yeah, that's gonna do it for the NBA, college basketball. Mackie got out our top 10 rankings or his top 10 rankings for the college basketball world. Real quick, I'll read through these. Number 10, Purdue. 9, Iowa State. 8, Texas A&M. Number 7, St. John's. Number 6, Tennessee. Number 5, Duke. 4, Florida. 3, Houston. 2, Alabama. And number 1, I think it's consensus. Number 1 is Auburn.
Did any
They're
of them get upset last night?
what'd you say?
Did any of them get upset last night? I saw a lot of games that
No,
were close, some ranked matchups.
Auburn won. I didn't see. I think
Tampa
Alabama
won,
plays.
right? Yeah, they won.
I believe Alabama plays tonight, don't they?
Oh,
No,
I
they
thought they
played
won
last night.
yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, they won. Iowa State won. Purdue lost. So
Creighton
that
ended up blowing the late lead to UConn. I don't know what they're ranked, but
Creighton was 24. That I was pissed, dude. I woke up and saw they lost. I went to bed. They were up like 10. Woke up and they fucking lost. Michigan State lost. That was a big one. I had Michigan State last night. I didn't do great. I did not do great yesterday. I can tell you that. Um, Kentucky beat Tennessee. There was a couple upsets yesterday. I didn't realize that. But Auburn, they're the pride and your tried and true number 1 seed. Duke obviously
any
lost to Clemson
futures you're looking
last
at
week.
for
They're
the
up.
NCAA?
What'd you say?
Any futures you've decided to lock in
I
yet?
I almost locked in Duke. I want to lock in Duke now that they just lost. I've been waiting for that. The odds didn't really come up too much, but I think um, I have a theory. If the last time Duke or the last time Ohio State won the national title game in football, Duke won that year in basketball. So I just have a feeling it's going to be a
How far away
repeat of.
from the conference tournaments?
I think there's 2 weeks, 3 weeks left in the
Is it the
season. I
last
think
week
there.
of February?
I think the no the let's
First week of
see.
March?
I think it's the first week of March because yeah, there's like Saturday, March 1st. There's a full slate.
Of conference
Um,
tournament.
Saturday, March 8th. There's a full slate. March 15th is yeah the March 13th, 14th, 15th weekend is conference championship weekend.
And then we'll go right. All right, awesome. So some exciting college basketball
About a
coming
month
up.
away, literally like a month away.
So a lot of exciting college basketball right around the corner.
Yeah, and then March Madness shortly after that. But and then shortly after that, we saw pitchers and catchers report today for the MLB.
Yeah, that's cool.
Opening day, March 27th. We're just over, just about a month-ish away, month and 2 weeks away from
Mm.
that. Um,
There's still some
Anything you want
dominoes
to
that
touch
gotta
on the
fall.
MLB? We'll kind of get into all of our futures and stuff for the MLB. Anything our MLB preview in a couple weeks, maybe halfway through March. But
Some
is there
minor
anything
league
else you want to
prospect
touch on?
shout outs. Yeah, we're still waiting on some dominoes to fall in the MLB too. I think there's a lot of free agents. I think
The
Bregman.
Pirates said they have not made their biggest move yet. I cannot wait to see what that
Oh
is.
God, they're gonna sign a AAA guy. No, but I think the next big piece to be will probably be Alex Bregman. I just saw Kenley Jansen go to someone bad.
The
The Angels.
Angels.
Yeah,
He Alex Bregman said today. I saw on ESPN he wants a 6-year deal.
who's giving him that? That's the thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say so do I.
Yeah, the Red Sox are rumored to be one of the best fits for him, and I would like to see him, but I don't see us giving him a long
What
term deal.
position he plays? He's second,
Third baseman.
third.
Yeah, and everybody always thinks eventually we're gonna move Raffy to first base or full time DH, so it would make sense. But
Yeah.
I don't see us. We're a young team with a lot of good prospects and future ahead of us in Boston. I don't think we're giving a 6-year
Well,
deal to
yeah,
an
you
old
don't
guy.
want to lock up on a.
They
I
didn't,
think
they didn't do
Bregman's
it with
aging
Bogarts or anybody like that. They're not gonna do it again.
Yeah, I could see a team like.
The Yankees,
I was gonna say the Yankees don't really need
the
him, but it
Rangers,
would be so Yankees to be like, "Fuck it, he's another
the
name."
Texas Rangers,
Yeah, just
steal him from
cross-state
Houston.
rival.
Yeah.
Toronto Blue Jays have been notably wanting to spend money this offseason. I could see them.
And they're probably losing Bichette next year, and Vlad's been rumored to be on the move too. The Dodgers, what about they brought over that Japanese pitcher? Was it Sasaki?
I can't even remember their names anymore.
There's a lot of them, but the big
Yamamoto and what's the
yeah.
new guy this year?
The one who just came over, I saw him in his
Yeah.
debut in Dodgers blue. That staff is gonna be nuts this year. They brought him in. They have Yamamoto. They have,
Aren't they in that
Ohtani and
Japan
Kershaw.
Classic again to start the year?
Huh?
Aren't they in that Tokyo Classic or Japan Classic,
That's
whatever
true.
it is?
Was it Australia last year?
I don't know. I think it's in Japan this year.
Oh, well, I mean, that would make sense with Ohtani.
Yeah, I think it is.
That'd be
I
cool.
don't know who. I don't know who. I know it's the Dodgers. I think last year it was what Dodgers Padres, if I'm not
Yeah.
correct.
Yep. Yep.
I don't. Then I doubt it's the Padres again. It'll probably be someone different.
It's
But
always the Dodgers though, because they're the best market to go into
worldwide,
Asia
yeah,
too. So it'll be fun to follow. I'm excited for the MLB season to get here, but we have a lot of great sports ahead of that.
yeah, absolutely. Like we said, NFL offseason, NFL draft, all that stuff around the corner. College basketball. Make sure you're staying tuned for all of our free plays there. NHL. Well, Four Nations face off while we have this over this little pause of the NHL. NBA's in full swing. So make sure you follow us at HitTheBooks.pod on Instagram, HitTheBooks_pod on Twitter. And that's going to do it for us this week. And we'll catch you guys next week for another week in the NBA, NHL, college basketball, the whole 9 yards, everything going on in the sports world. We'll let you know what's going on. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.